And now on to the stars of the show, the entrepreneurs. Most entrepreneurs are solving their own problems, and that's no exception for SeatDreamzzz founder and admitted head bobber. I will let him explain what that means, Will Harlan. He'll tell us more about how he's traveled the world while building his new product and company. Will, come on up.
I'm a little tall as well, a little taller than Brian, so I gotta get this up. Hello everybody, my name is Will Harlan and I'm the founder of SeatDreamzzz, a sleeping mask that eliminates the head bob when traveling. I'm just gonna put these down here just in case I forget. About 5 years ago, I went to go visit my sister for the first time. She had moved to London with her now husband to go pursue a career over there, and it was my first time traveling abroad in a long time. It's a 10 to 12 hour flight. I don't know if any of you guys have taken those before. But I went out and bought a number of different products. U-Pillow, and a number of other products, but none of them worked. It was kind of funny. I had a Patagonia jacket on, and I took it off, and I tied a knot in the arms, and I strapped my head to the chair. It's a bit of a ridiculous idea, but on a 10 to 12 hour flight, you get kind of, you're looking for any type of solution to help you out. So it was pretty comfortable. It was a nice jacket, so the padding was nice on my face. But I woke up about 7 hours later, kind of surprised. I didn't know how long I'd slept, but when I woke up, just to give you some context, I was on a plane, big 747. I was sitting on an exit aisle just because I'm a little taller, and there was about 4 or 5 feet in front of me. So I woke up, pulled the thing over my head, and a pilot was standing directly in front of me. It's kind of awkward, to be honest. And he goes, "What are you doing?" I said, "Oh, I'm tying my head to the chair so I can sleep." And he goes, "Brilliant." And I'm like, "Okay, great." And he just kind of walks away. And in my dazed and confused state, I'm like, "What the hell just happened?" But it was an epiphany. I kind of realized that I had literally just slept for 7 hours. There was no other products out there that would do that for me. So when I got home from the trip, I decided to pursue the idea a little bit further. So did what anybody would typically do. I went and bought a sewing machine. I'd never sewed in my entire life. Went to the fabric store, got some materials, went home and just hacked away. About 6 to 9 months of work watching YouTube videos, trying to figure out how the hell to work this thing. Broke 20 to 30 pieces on it. Really had no idea what I was doing. But ultimately, I took the sewing needle out and finished the first mask and hopped on a plane. It was actually pretty comfortable, to be honest. It's fairly easy to make a comfortable eye mask, but there's a number of features and a number of elements that I was not aware of that I had to pay attention to. So I knew when I got home I had a couple things that I needed to do to the mask to perfect it and take it to the next level. But I knew I was not the person to do that. So I found a product designer in Portland, worked with her for about a year, iterated on the product a number of times, ultimately landed on a design that I was happy with, she was happy with, and I had a seamstress in San Francisco, so about 150 of them for me. Side story, I went through 12 seamstresses to find somebody who would sew my mask for me, because initially I was using silk. Didn't really know that was like really difficult to sew with, because I have no experience, but made 150 of them, and this past January, I was living in San Francisco at the time, quit my job and kind of pursued a lifelong goal to go travel abroad. I wanted to go abroad for 3+ months, and I picked Colombia as my first destination. So imagine trying to travel abroad with 150 masks in your backpack when you're trying to travel light as well. Wasn't that easy, but I had the masks on hand, and I was pitching in hostels, in airports, restaurants, in bus terminals, anywhere I could just to get the word out. And if I met somebody who I thought would be able to use the mask, I would give it to them and say, "Hey, give me your email. I'll follow up with you and ask you some basic questions on the design and how it's used." While I was on the trip, I was able to hand those out pretty quickly. When you travel and stay in hostels, you meet people that are looking to sleep on buses and cars and planes. I was telling them it was specific to planes, but they were using it in other ways as well. So it's kind of interesting. I was heading up to coffee country in Colombia. I was trying to go take a couple days off. I'd been on a hike in the jungle for a while. I was just looking to relax. And I don't know if any of you have listened to the podcast. I would imagine some of you have in here, called How I Built This, specifically the Spanx. Ladies in here, you guys probably know what that is, and men are like, "What are you talking about?" But her story is really fascinating. She she was she was like a print salesman, door-to-door print salesman, and on the side was working on this product that she thought would really help women. Ultimately, the story was super inspiring, and on the bus, kind of realized that this dream of going traveling needed to be cut short so I could get home to pursue the idea a little bit further. So I went home to San Francisco, found a product designer up in Portland, started working with her, and I've been working with her for about the past year and a half. So the travel industry is massive. We all know this. United's getting a new flight here, so we're going to get more flights coming out of Bend. But there's 3.3 billion passengers that travel yearly, and that was really what made me want to pursue this idea. In the past 3 years, about 500 million products have been sold that are sleeping-related travel products. So big opportunity, nothing out there like this. It's pretty unique. I do have a provisional patent, so the idea is protected, looking to go into full patent here in the near term. But there's a number of issues out there in the market. I think the first thing is ineffective solutions. I don't know how many U-pillows you guys have bought, but I think I've probably owned 5 or 6. Either they've fallen off my luggage or just been left in airports. And then there's a number of other products out there that are kind of low quality. I think the U-pillow, and just in general, there's been a lack of innovation in the market too. So with the new chair design, with the independent headrests, that was kind of what I was like, oh man, I can leverage that and wrap a strap around it to support the head. And then finally is there's actually a number of good products out there, but they're bulky and big and annoying. You see people sometimes carrying them around airports, and it's like, it looks like a second briefcase in some solutions. Some of them are big blow-up pillows, but they're just annoying and tough to carry. So SeatDreamzzz is simple. I have it right here. Simple, compact, comes in a little sidekick bag, and you can fit your phone. I actually, before I get on planes now, I put my phone, my headphones, notepad, pen and pencil, all fits in here really effectively, and then the sleeping mask itself fits in there as well. So I'll just flash this up here so you guys can get a look. The other thing that I wasn't planning on touching on, but when you end at your final destination, the travel strap comes off, and you got a sleeping mask for bed. So it has dual purposes. Right now, it's selling for $29.99 on the website. It's a special. I think I'm up to 187 sales in the past 3 weeks or so with no advertising. I capped it at 200 for the pre-order, but if you guys get on the website now and purchase, I can't really turn off the pre-order at 200 if we get past that. So SeatDreamzzz.com. But right now, the mask sort of 5,000 order volume. It's about $560 to produce a mask. Obviously, as order quantities go up and we start to scale, that per unit price goes down pretty significantly. But right now we're at 81% margin on the mask itself, direct to consumer, and then just above 50 for wholesale, but there's a lot of room to improve there. A couple different business opportunities that have happened recently. So I think direct to consumer, we did some advertising initially. We're able to really hone in on target markets and get a lot of conversions, but that's gonna be a big avenue for us just because of the margins and the digital advertising that you can run today. Second option is retail. So when you go through airports, pretty obvious. We think we'd fit perfectly in the airport stores, such as Hudson News and anywhere else you see U-pillows. So retail is a big option. I've been contacted in the last 2 weeks by a number of different companies. So if you're familiar with Touch of Modern, it's an online men's focused website that kind of does email blasts and sells products. They're interested. I was at a wedding in New Orleans. It's actually really coincidental. In New Orleans this past October, met somebody at the wedding. They own a manufacturing firm in Medford where they rebrand any type of product with sports paraphernalia, so NCAA, NFL, NBA, and so on. And they're interested in licensing it. And then a Hong Kong-based retailer reached out, which is kind of interesting to me. I'm producing the product here in the US, but I'm starting to get interest kind of from all over the world. Even the sales that I have, like Switzerland, Germany, US, kind of spread out. So it's really interesting. The two bigger opportunities that I personally think that are really there are a little further down the road in my eyes once we get manufacturing up and running. The first would be corporate branding. So if you think about consultants that fly all over the world for their companies or even just kind of nationally, they have the ability to brand those masks and wear them. And then finally, airplanes. Some PR that's happened over the past month We were picked up by Thrillist Media, where we had over 300,000 views and a number of kind of social engagement. We were on ABC's show The Chew, featured about 2.5 weeks ago, where the host called it a brilliant idea, which is great. And then finally, we're in line with Outside Magazine to be published an article that's titled Top 10 Products That Help You Sleep While Traveling. The team I've got is pretty stellar. So we've got Sarah Crockett, she's a product designer out of Portland, ex-Nike designer. Kyle Hartelt, he's a product and manufacturing expert. He was the director of innovation at Fossil Watches and Manufacturing. I've got Sean Kesterson, he's my mobile and brand expert, comes out of Apple. Kyle Peters, social and travel expert, who helped found Passion Passport. Ashley Heinrichs and Kevin Ernst, who deal with digital advertising and marketing for me. The only thing I have left is what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a product mentor in town to help me kind of guide me through decisions I have coming up, a manufacturing kind of expert to connect me with some folks, because it's a unique product to manufacture. And then finally, I think I'll need some capital when those bigger orders come in, to place orders and have them in place. So thank you, Brian, and everybody here at EDCO for giving me the opportunity to speak. Really appreciate the time and looking forward to your questions. Yeah.
So questions for Will. Aaron.
Oh, yeah, it's a great question. So we launched a website kind of full blown about a month and a half ago. Looked at the analytics at the beginning. We had a big spike. We had a little bit of PR, but over the past month or so, we've averaged about 50 to 75 users. And I'm doing the marketing and advertising. So I found out that it's a lot of organic traffic that's coming through searching, and we were able to optimize the SEO. So about 50 to 75 per day. Yeah. Yeah. So we've got a.
I'm going to repeat these questions. Can you say that again? I didn't actually hear it, Lindsay. What's the material made out of?
Yeah. So it's a 2-ply soft shell. So on the inside, it's got a really comfortable fleece. So for the mask on the inside, and on the outside, we use just the opposite side of the fabric. So we actually just landed on that recently. We were actually using a couple different materials, and when we're going to manufacturing, it's just a little bit easier to, from a cost perspective and a manufacturing perspective, to use the same material.
First of all, nice presentation. But
Thanks.
You just mentioned it, but besides not being bulky, what's different about your product that makes it better?
Yeah. What's different about the product? What makes it unique? So there really isn't anything out there like this today. The independent headrest has been in the industry for about 2 years in terms of the flights, and there's nothing that utilizes that really to help you sleep. And then the conversion over to sleeping mask is kind of a unique element too. So it has when you travel, you want to sleep on the plane, and then you want to sleep in the hotel when you get there. So it has a two-pronged approach. Any other questions? Oh yeah. Oh yeah. You know that? Oh.
No, that would be a mistake. So she asked if he could model it on himself.
Yeah. So if you're familiar with the independent headrests, it just goes over the face like so, and typically it flares out just a little bit to wrap around the headrest. So it's really comfortable, keeps your head nice and vertical, and you sleep really well, to be honest.
Cameron, do you have a question?
Yeah, so we're at 190.
How many total units have you sold?
I don't have analytics coming on my phone on real time, so maybe it's gone up since I started speaking, but we're at 192 as of now.
One more question. Last question, Peter.
What is it's a utility patent? So using the function on the chair itself, nobody's actually used that part of the chair yet. There's sleeping masks out there. There's a lot of other products out there, but there's a unique element there. There's also signage that we're looking into to add to the patent. So a lot of people have been asking for do not sleep, or not, that doesn't make any sense. Son of a gun. No, wake me up for food, wake me up for drinks, any of those other types. So that unique element.
All right, thanks, Will.
Do not sleep.